In the year 2024, my company and I did 84 wholesaling real estate deals with some flips in there. Now, I say that stat because I want to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes that I see wholesalers make when they're doing the marketing. Now, as far as credibility, go and check the podcast out. I was on with Steve Trang if you want to learn more about me. The link is in the description below. It's a great podcast. I would highly recommend you go and listen to it. Now, the 5 biggest marketing mistakes that I see wholesalers and flippers make. There's a few different reasons, and I'm not going to go into specific marketing methods or anything like that. I'm just going to go into some things that I see a lot of people make, because if there's at least one of these things that I guarantee you that whether you're experienced or brand new, you guys are doing one of these things. And that if you are able to change one of these things, this is going to be the most valuable 20 minutes you'll ever spend on a YouTube video when it comes to wholesaling and flipping real estate. Now, with that being said, the first one I have for 5 biggest marketing mistakes is going to be being single-faceted. Now, I don't mean literally one marketing method where you're getting all of your motivated sellers, but what I mean by being single-faceted is, yes, having 1 or 2 ways of getting all of your motivated sellers all the time. This is a huge problem, because when this is happening, you're going to have downtimes, you're going to have great times with that specific marketing source, whether it's cold calling, direct mail, anything like that. You're going to have ups and downs. Now, what I would recommend is, if you are able to do this, now if you're in the beginning stages, please just start with one marketing method. That's a great way to go about it. But if you want to become an experienced real estate investor, you cannot be single-faceted. You can't grow a real business and do numbers like we did last year by being single-faceted. We didn't get those from just 1 or 2 marketing methods. We got them from having 5 to 10 marketing methods, maybe even more than that, maybe 12, right? You have to make sure you have every single piece of marketing you possibly can have if that's your goal to be a big dog real estate investor in your local market. Now, we did 84 deals, and I live in a town of 300,000 people. So it's very possible to get this done. It's very possible to get that many deals in a local market. You just have to do it correctly. And you just have to make sure you're doing it in an efficient manner. Part of that is by making sure you have as many marketing methods as possible. So if you're starting out, yeah, go ahead and use a couple different marketing methods and double down on that. And then once you get more money, start adding more on. But you need to make sure you're doing every single one possible. Now, my company, we love to use SEO, PPC, our Google Business Profile. Those get all of our best leads. We continue to use bandit signs in all of our flips or wholesales that we do. We stick them in the front yards. They still do everything you need to do. We still even sprinkle direct mail. We still do SMS texting. We still do cold calling. We still do, some ads, right? Some Facebook ads. We do everything. And you want to make sure that you do as many things as possible, because with marketing, the one thing I'll leave you with is you need to make sure you're at the right place, at the right time, all the time. So your competitors are not getting motivated sellers, but you are. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing I'm going to talk about today is inconsistency. I see this a lot of times with wholesalers and flippers because they try a marketing method for 1 month and it doesn't work, right? And this is a big mistake, whether it's outbound or inbound. Outbound, if you're being inconsistent, would be an example of, you make you say, okay, I have to call this many people, I have to make this many dials every single week, and you only make like 1/4 of those dials, right? If you're gonna say you have to make these dials a week, you have to do that week over week over week. And if you don't, it's not cold calling that's the problem, it's you. That's the problem. You have to be consistent. You have to consistently cold call all the time. You're not going to get a deal in your first week, not even the first month, maybe not even the first 3 months. You may cold call every single day for 8 hours for the next 3 months and still not get a deal, but that 4th month, you could get that deal. From there, that deal could fund you getting a VA, or other things like that, which we'll talk about later. But that's just an example of outbound inconsistency, is not doing enough volume, not doing enough of what you say you're going to have to do to get a deal, right? It's a lot harder than people think to get a deal. Now, inbound, where I see the most inconsistency, is not trusting the process as far as running ads or being patient or putting in the funds that it takes to get the output that you need, right? For example, with Google PPC, right? I run Google PPC for other clients all across the country. And a lot of people, they think in their first week they're going to get a deal. And that's not the case. With Google PPC, it takes probably a month to brew and understand, because Google's trying to understand your landing page, your ad headlines, everything like that, to get you to display for the right keywords. Because we only want to display for the keywords that a motivated seller would click on it and fill out our form, so it's a high quality lead. So that's what I would consider inconsistent with the ad space or the inbound side of things, is just not trusting the process enough or just not putting in the funds that it actually takes to get it done. And so that's what I would consider inconsistency. So if you're doing any inconsistencies there within your outbound marketing, make sure you're doing enough volume, even more volume than you think. If you're doing inbound campaigns, make sure you're putting in the right funds possible to actually get what you want, and don't expect to have results in a week. So that's the second thing that I see. Now we're going to go on to the third thing, which is going to be doing everything yourself. I just mentioned here as a snippet here last time where you can have a VA cold call for you. Now, of course, a VA is not going to be as good as you would be on the phones. Obviously, me being in my metro market, if I was on the phones calling homeowners, it's going to be a lot more of a higher conversion rate to get quote-unquote motivated sellers, right? But what the approach here is that you want to make sure, because there's going to be days where you show up and you're running all these different marketing methods. The best of the best do not sit there and cold call all day. They're running their business, not working in the business, they're working on it. Now, with that being said, it requires you in the beginning to work in the business, and that's fine. But if you want to really get out of that phase of working in the business, you have to hire out. You have to, sub things out to other people, right? For example, a lot of people hire me to do SEO and website SEO and PPC for motivated sellers to get more leads that way. Now, as a real estate investor, not a lot of people know how to do SEO and PPC because they're not digital marketers, they're real estate investors. They're flipping, they're wholesaling, they're getting deals. So that's a whole different skill to learn, and that took me a long time to learn. The only reason I learned how to do it was because I couldn't afford to pay other people to do it. But luckily, it ended up working out, hopefully, I guess. But with that being said, doing everything yourself is not going to get you where you go. Hire the VAs to cold call for you. Hire a marketing agency or two if that's what's required to get more motivated sellers. And even if it does cost a little bit of money, that's what it takes. You have to do that. Otherwise, you're just going to stay small. So don't do everything yourself. It's going to waste you a lot of time, and it's going to even waste you a lot of money, because the money that you would earn from delegating to a VA or hiring a marketing agency, you're just holding back by just having ignorance of just not doing it. And so you're just going to stay small forever. So that's my third thing. That's the third biggest mistake I see. Now, we're going to go on to the fourth thing. And this is probably the most painful thing I've ever seen, is failing to follow up. The amount of times I have talked to a lot of real estate investors, mostly ones that do one or two marketing methods. And they get some leads coming in, they maybe have they're maybe cold calling, they may be doing a couple different things like driving for dollars, direct mail, and they're getting a few leads here and there. Now, I look at their CRM and I ask them, okay, why are you not getting any deals? I mean, it looks like you're getting a few leads a week. You should at least be doing a deal a month, right? And they always are just like, well, they're usually not looking to sell, or they're not ready to go right then and there. I'm like, that's fine. That's how most of them are going to be. Now, this is where it's very important, if you're getting enough leads, is to figure out a CRM system. A CRM system, if you're new to this, is a customer relationship management. And basically what it is a place to hold your leads that gives you the ability to be like almost a personal assistant, to make sure that it's telling you, okay, follow up with this person today, or you need to follow up with this person 30 days from today, right? For all of our CRM, we have a few thousand leads in there. And there's no way that I would be able to keep track of 3,000 leads in a CRM and be able to follow up with those people and just remember it that day. It's impossible. If you're getting that many leads, you have to make sure you're following up these people at a large scale, because following up is going to be where the money's at. Guarantee you, if you do cold calling, direct mail, or any of these things, you're going to have people who are going to be like, yep, I've been looking to sell. Maybe it might happen in a couple months. I'm not quite ready yet, but just looking at options. Happens all the time. And the people who are following up with once a week, twice a month, once a month, whatever the case may be, are going to get the deal, and they're at least going to get it at bat, because people aren't going to remember you. People, unless you keep in this business, in the real estate investing space, if people are not getting constantly reached out to by you, they're just going to forget about you, because they're talking to probably 5 other real estate investors and getting other offers that way. So that's what I would recommend. You need to get a CRM system set up if you're getting plenty of leads. You don't need to if you're in the beginning. If you're in the beginning stages, don't do this. But you need to make sure you're following up. But if you are getting a lot of leads, get a CRM. Podio is my favorite. It's cheap. I have the highest plan, and it's $24 a month. You can hire other people for very cheap to program it even for you if you don't want to do this, for like $50 on Fiverr. So get a CRM set up. Make sure you're following up with all of your leads. because that is what's generated us a lot of deals. Is over half of our deals last year were off of follow-ups that maybe a lead came in, 6 months prior, a year prior, and they ended up panning out that point in time. So you want to make sure you're just not forgetting about leads and letting them fall through the cracks, because you are missing out on thousands of dollars if you are not doing this. So the last thing I'm going to leave you with today, keeping yourself a secret. Now, in this space, I don't know what exactly the stigma is. Now, some people do this very well and some people don't do this very well. It's just having people know about who you are. There's a lot of flippers, mainly flippers. Some wholesalers mostly wholesalers are good at this, but a lot of flippers, especially if you buy wholesale deals and you don't do as much marketing, you just keep yourself a secret. You don't let other people know that you actually buy houses. And the problem with this is that nobody's ever going to ever hit you up to buy or to have them buy their house if nobody knows about you. So that means that every single deal that you have to get is going to be based off of extreme effort. Either you have to make the call, you have to send this campaign or do whatever this is, or even buy a wholesale deal and have to pay a massive wholesale fee because some other wholesaler got the deal and you didn't. Right? Keeping yourself a secret is probably the worst thing you can do in this business. And obviously the best way to do this simply, that is completely for free, that you don't have to pay a single person to do, build a Google business profile. Build one, get a few reviews, get a couple reviews a week, put your company name there, put some photos out there, maybe build a Facebook page. And from there, just alone from there, you could get a deal somehow. Not saying you would get consistent deals or you would actually get a deal from it if you weren't ranking very well. But I'm saying having that at least gives you an at-bat where somebody could find your profile, somebody could give you a call, somebody could fill out the form on your website, something like that. That's what I'd recommend, the first thing at minimum. If you're like, I don't really care about people knowing about me, I'd rather pay a bunch of wholesale fees. I would rather have to put in a lot of effort for every single one of my deals. That's fine. But at least build a Google business profile to start. Now, these are my 5 biggest marketing mistakes that I see wholesalers and flippers make. And now if you're interested in learning more about kind of how to get motivated sellers or kind of what you should do, whether you're beginner or experienced, feel free to watch my other videos on my channel. I provide a lot of value, I hope, to make sure you are just getting more motivated sellers. Now, if you want for me to run a website SEO campaign for you or run Google ads for you, feel free to watch my other videos, but the link for my company will be in the description if you want to learn more on how that has been a very success for us as well as our other clients. But I really hope you found some value today, and I really hope you take one of these things and implement it into your business. That way you can just get more deals. That's the goal, is making sure everybody is getting as much deals as possible. Feel free to watch the podcast like I mentioned. It's a great one. I would appreciate it a lot if you watch that podcast. But comment if you have any questions. Hit me up on Instagram if you want to DM me with any questions. Like the video. Please subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. But thanks for watching.